And so he eventually makes his way to Los Angeles, of all places. But that was because, as you mentioned earlier, his relationship with Heifetz, Heifetz had arranged for him to become a composer for the film studio MGM. What were his first few years in America like, and how did he like being a film composer?
I think Mario's first few years in America were quite difficult for several reasons. First of all, he left behind his whole life and his parents and brothers, and that was very difficult. Of course, he felt very fortunate to be in a safe place, but also had left everything behind. He also had a whole new level of pressure because he had to support himself and he had to support his family. And so getting this full-time job at MGM was really very much needed and very much appreciated for that reason, because it allowed him to have some stability. I think he went into film composing or working in a studio very optimistically and very hopeful, and had great ideas about what it would be like to work on movies. But the reality on the ground was quite different. And at that time, once he got there, first of all, I think he was kind of low on the totem pole compared to many people who had arrived earlier than he did. And it wasn't a very collaborative environment. No one was consulting the composer to say when should there be music, how should it be used, what kind. They were calling all the shots. So I think that he was disillusioned in that sense and didn't feel that what he did added up to a lot creatively. And I think there were some things about it that were positive, in that, for example, for him to have the chance to write music in the morning, and then in the afternoon there's a professional orchestra there that's going to play your music, that is huge, because otherwise when Mario would write something, he might have to wait weeks, months, years to hear what it sounded like. And also just becoming accustomed to having to write very quickly and just adapt to all different kinds of assignments. He wrote for, adventure films and comedies and science fiction and horror movies and every different type of film you could imagine.